The trading frenzy around Gamestop stock is the focus on Capitol Hill today. The House Financial Services Committee will hold a virtual meeting asking who wins and loses when short sellers, social media, and retail investors collide. Lawmakers are expected to grill tech and Wall Street CEOs and even a YouTube investment streamer. NBC News correspondent Leigh Caldwell and NBC News senior business correspondent Stephanie Ruhle join us now on this landmark congressional hearing. Good morning to both of you. I'm so excited to have you both here to talk about this. Leigh, I'll start with you and just an overview of what we can expect to hear today.
Sure, Savannah. I'll wait to hear from Steph on the details of what actually happened back then, because it's over my head. But as far as the politics are concerned and what Congress is going to do, you're going to hear from all the major players today. And some of them are going to come with answers on how they think it should be addressed. They're trying to get ahead of the problem. But this GameStop saga has created a lot of strange bedfellows on Capitol Hill. It's kind of this Wall Street populist movement with people like Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Ted Cruz, people who don't come together on legislation or ideas very often, saying that something needs to be done. You're likely going to hear differences between what Republicans and Democrats want to do. Democrats are talking about more regulation, but you can be sure today, Savannah, there's going to be a lot of questions asked, and the people involved in this are going to try to explain it away and deflect blame.
Absolutely. And Stephanie, I echo what Leigh just said there about, I can't wait to hear from you on this. Watching your show during this time period was just captivating. And there was so much of what you said that was just so interesting to me about this is the little guys versus the big guys. Is that really the case? Is someone winning? Is someone losing? Who's this really hurting? And I wonder, are lawmakers going to actually be able to answer any of those questions with this hearing?
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say this is not over Leigh Caldwell's head. This is just information she has not yet covered, but it is not over her head. Let's give you a quick reminder of what happened. This is when we saw anonymous amateur investors grouped together in social media chats on Reddit. They found what's known as a short in the market, some very large hedge funds that were betting against GameStop, a video game business that had been losing money for years. And they started buying up the stock. This is known as a short squeeze, a massive short squeeze, the largest we've ever seen from individual investors. And the question is, the trading app that they used, Robinhood, which is kind of like, almost looks like a mobile video game on your phone, saw so much volume they were unable to process a lot of these trades. And so there are huge questions. Lawmakers want to understand from all of the participants, how did this happen? And why are these specific lawmakers asking? Because this is the House Financial Services Committee. It is their job to ensure that markets are moving smoothly, that the mechanics are working. And we know that wasn't the case. I spoke to the chairperson, Maxine Waters. Here's what she said.
Our aim certainly is to protect the investor and to do what needs to be done. And so I don't start out thinking that this is too big, this is too difficult, and that we don't have a role to play. We certainly have demonstrated since I have chaired this committee that we're willing to do what is necessary, even to change the status quo.
Okay, but the question is, what does that actually mean? We have seen Maxine Waters lead these big hearings, drag these guys in, scold them. But I can tell you, back 11 years ago, when the flash crash happened, we saw a hearing like this. People got yelled at. People got spanked. The regulation is still pending around that. So will something get done? I don't know.
Will more people be spanked? We don't know. Leigh, following up on that, could some lawmakers who have relationships with Wall Street come under fire?
And well, this gets exactly to what Stephanie was just saying about, is anything actually going to be done? Some of the people appearing before this committee today have donated hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars to these lawmakers. The head of Robinhood, he's new to the political campaign game. He just made his first political contribution in 2020, just a few $1,000s. But Ken Griffith of Citadel, he has donated hundreds of thousands to members on that committee and millions to Republicans, including $37 million, just to Senate now Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's PAC in the last election cycle. And so that puts a lot of pressure on these lawmakers and a lot of motivation for them not to really do anything that would perhaps punish them or tighten the squeeze around them, because these are people who contribute a lot of money to their campaigns, especially these hedge fund Wall Street folks, Savannah.
And Stephanie, Senator Elizabeth Warren is even calling for Senate hearings on this too. Is that right?
She is. Remember, Elizabeth Warren, she is sort of the godmother, the granddaddy, the one who goes after Wall Street greed really more than anyone. She's the one who pushed for the creation for the CFTC, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, specifically to protect the little guy. So even though she is not on this committee, she's called for Senate banking hearings. And I talked to her about this. She is so, I don't want to say happy, but she's so interested in this. And she's saying this is an all-important warning bell that we need to focus on how all of these things work, especially now that technology is playing such a prevalent role, because we've got to protect the little guy. Listen to this.
This should be a warning bell. What happened with GameStop is not just about GameStop. It is the warning bell that we have a stock market that is subject to manipulation, a stock market that is not functioning. And that's why the SEC needs to get up off their rear ends and put in place the appropriate regulations, and then have a spine to go enforce those regulations.
I'll be sharing more of my interview with Elizabeth Warren tonight on Nightly News with Lester Holt. And just pay close attention. She's saying this is much bigger than that. And we're waiting for the incoming SEC chair, Gary Gensler, to be confirmed. Gary has a deep understanding of the ins and outs of market dynamics. And I can tell you, she's enthusiastic about Gary taking this role. Wall Street is not.
Stephanie, last quick question for you. Keith Gill, the guy who started all this on Wall Street Bets and streams his investment ideas on YouTube, also known as Roaring Kitty. Do you think he ever thought he'd be testifying before a House committee?
Absolutely not. But guess what? What he started as a small chat room amassed into a massive thing. And there are going to be questions about what you can put out on social media and the accountability. If a bank was putting out recommendations like that, they would have to disclose their position. So is this a situation around what kind of information are you sharing? Because there are some people who are saying, what was this person's motivation? When were they buying? When were they selling? Could this be a pump and dump scheme where you talk up an investment just because it serves you? And that's what we're going to see a lot of questions about that today, potentially. Will these lawmakers know what questions to ask? Are they going to ask questions, or are they just going to be talking? We'll see.
I'd love to hear you ask them questions on this, Stephanie. Stephanie and Leanne, thank you both so much.
I'd love to.
We'll be talking more about this soon.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.